So what I'm doing here is something we should all be doing on a daily basis, in my opinion, if not more than once a day, and that's keeping our feeders clean. Hygiene at your bird feeders is probably the most important thing, and if you're not willing to do this, in my opinion, you shouldn't be feeding the birds. And at all my feeding stations I have a cloth and an antibacterial spray, and I clean all the perches and all the ports daily, sometimes twice daily or whenever I'm passing. And then at least once a week, sometimes more often in the times when it's really busy in the winter, I take the whole feeder apart, or I've got spare parts for the feeders so that I can ensure that at all times this feeder is absolutely clean as I can make it. Same with these. So it's pretty easy, if you choose the right feeders, to keep these really nice and clean. But it's not only keeping them clean, it's choosing the feeder that enables you to do that. And I'm going to show you some of my favourites. So I want to lead you through some of the things I think about when buying a feeder or choosing my feeders. And I think it's much better to have one really good feeder than lots of cheap, not very good feeders. So things you need to think about. Is the food being kept dry? So wet food is much more likely to harbour disease. So you want to choose a feeder where the food is kept dry. You want to make sure that the birds can't walk around and defecate in the food. So they need to be able to perch well away from where the food is being dispensed. And also your feeder needs to come apart for cleaning. So you need to bear those key things in mind, and I'm going to show you some of the ones I really like that you'll probably see on my live streams. So I also have problems with squirrels, so as many people do, and larger birds. So this is one of the Jacoby Jane Squirrel Buster range, and I've got the plus one, which you've just seen me cleaning, and then this is one of the smaller feeders. So you can see the bird's perch here that's well away from the food. Generally, unless there's a lot of wind blowing, the food stays pretty dry in here. And in the winter I tend to put less food in it so I can change it regularly. Then a simple unscrew at the base, the whole thing comes apart, dead easy to clean. So not only am I wiping all the ports every day, possibly a couple of times a day, several times a week I take the whole thing apart and clean it. So it's a really nice little feeder, that. Another one I really like is this Finch's Friend one. And again, this has been specifically designed to keep disease at an absolute minimum. And it comes with two bases, so you can easily interchange them daily, every couple of days, weekly, whatever you want. So you can leave the feeder up, simply twist to close the ports off, and then you can just clip the base back in. And then when you want, I tend to do it every few days or every week, depending on the weather. I can just unclip this, put the new one back on and take this and clean it. So dead easy. It keeps the food dry. The birds perch well away from the food. Win-win, I'd say. So those are for sort of seed-based feeding. But as we move through into summer, we are moving away from seed because it's the finches that are really suffering from the diseases that are harboured at poorly kept feeders. So I'm looking for other foods to feed and other ways to feed because I feel they still need that support. So fat-based products I feed all year round, and it's not just the traditional fat ball. There's lots of other fat products on the market. The key is to find something that feels pretty soft and putty-like, because if it's really dry and concrete-like, there's a lot of fillers in it and it's no good for the birds. They won't eat it. So there's all sorts of products. These are great. These stack in a feeder. These are from Eco Bird Food. These are little bird cakes. These stack really nicely with a lot less space wasted than maybe the fat balls were. They're really popular. This one I absolutely love, and so do the birds. Again, this is from Eco Bird Food. So this is very popular. Comes in a recyclable, well, not recyclable, you can compost this cardboard outside. None of their packaging or anything uses any plastics, and you can just hang that up. Sometimes I put it like that as well on the edge of a branch or on the edge of a tree. Really popular. And then you can buy fat products in all shapes and sizes to fit all different feeders, and also you can buy like a suet pellet, and these are really popular. And these, as long as it isn't a very damp environment, these flow in small quantities quite well in a bird feeder. So what can you feed these products in? Well, I'm going to be looking at a range of different fat feeders over the next few months and trialing them, but I really like the look of these, and you'll be seeing them on my live streams. Nice solid surface. You don't want wood wherever possible because you can't keep it clean and it gets wet and it gets mouldy. So these are really nice. Keep the food clean. Put your fat products in there. You could either put the bars or the fat balls or the cakes, or a mixture of all of them. Put the nice lid down, and then there's no way the finches are going to feed on there because you need to be able to hang upside down. So all the tit family are going to love these, and the great spotted woodpecker as well. So I'll be trialling these. There's a range of different ones you can get. Here's another one, similar, a metal version. Dead easy to clean. Everything comes apart. And then this is a nice one as well. Again, this is by Kingswood. So this one, you could put your fat bars in there, and this bit's meant to be so that when the woodpecker sits on here, it can rest its tail, a bit like when it's on a tree branch. So there's loads of other options, and even, this is another thing that Eco Bird Food and I've been experimenting with, is to create a mix that doesn't include seeds. So this has got 2 types of suet pellet, mealworms in it. So I'm trialling those in a range of feeders, again to see how well they flow, and they're going to be a popular addition, I think, in my summer menu. So hopefully that will give you something to think about, but in my opinion, if you're not willing to really pay attention to hygiene at your bird feeders, then you shouldn't be feeding the birds at your bird feeding station. So bear that in mind.